10 dakika sonra git, 10 dakika sonra.
Ora 2 dakika.
He?
2 dakika.
The basilica was gutted by fire during the Nika riots of 532 AD, when huge crowds tried to unseat the Emperor Justinian. He survived and afterwards rebuilt the centre of Constantinople, most famously, of course, erecting a new Hagia Sophia. But before he rebuilt the basilica, he had a huge cistern installed under the courtyard. A small cistern may already have been in place, but as was Justinian's way, he expanded the structure massively. The result was the largest covered cistern in the city, which, along with the rebuilt basilica above, seems to have been complete by 541. The new reservoir could hold up to 80,000 cubic meters of water. The contemporary historian Procopius tells us that the emperor's goal was to provide a new storage facility for the overflow of water from the aqueduct of Valens. Thus, when water was plentiful, it could be stored here to be used in times of drought. This is probably true, but some scholars wonder whether the experience of being besieged informed Justinian's decision-making, and since he was adding new granaries and bakeries to his home, perhaps the cistern water was really meant to be piped into the palace. The basilica cistern remained the largest underground water source in Constantinople throughout the city's history. After the Ottoman conquest, its true extent seems to have been a mystery to the new inhabitants. In 1546, Frenchman Pierre Gilles was searching the city for antiquities when he came upon the cistern. He discovered that those living in the neighbourhood were drawing water from an underground source. One of them took him to their basement, where they descended into this cavernous wonder from another time. Pierre hopped in a small boat to explore what became known to the Turks as the Sunken Palace. The cistern was renovated by the Ottoman authorities in 1723 and at the end of the 19th century. It then played a small role in the James Bond film From Russia with Love, where it was supposedly located under the Soviet consulate. In 1985, 50,000 tons of mud were removed from the cistern, walkways were built, and it was ready to be opened to the public 2 years later. As you might imagine, this underground cistern is pretty dark, so although this footage isn't too exciting, it does capture accurately the atmospheric experience of walking through the columns. If you have a good understanding of photography, though, you can bring the scene to life in various ways.
Mystery story, and she wrote Murder of the Orient Express in Istanbul. Yes, this is next city is called New Town or Galata. This is the Galata Tower. The huge tower is Galata Tower. Mostly Greek, Venetian or Armenian population lived here. And now we are passing Galata Bridge. This is very remarkable also, this bridge. We are going to eat fish over there. You can see red tent. It's the place of the sandwich. And the back side is Egyptian bazaar. You see, it's very close. Very close. After we get on the bus, some of our guests already went to Grand Bazaar. But if you like, I can put today also. We can visit 1 hour maybe, depends on your situation. And also European side. This is not Aegean side, don't be misunderstand. Yes, Asia is right side.
What is the most popular fish here?
Most popular fish. It's coming from the Black Sea, small.
What is it called?
I don't know in English. In Turkish, uskumru. Uskumru. This is also European side, but we call this town is New Town. Our places, our hotels is called Old Town. Old Town. This is the new, but this is also very old. Very old. This area built by Italian, Genoa. Population lived here. Almost Anno Domini 10th, 11th century. They start to move.
What on the way back?
Synthesizing Turkish and Western approaches. Interior and exterior decorations have Baroque, Rococo, and Empiric features, reflecting Western architectural forms and traditional Ottoman art. The palace provides a contrast between its exterior architecture and interior decoration, which is referred to as a synthesis of the East and the West. Exterior embellishments of the palace reveal the finest examples of 19th century Ottoman stonemasonry. When viewed from the sea, the exterior of the building is covered with stone and marble. However, on the interior, the bearing and framework are all made of wood, and each is presented with an original sense of architecture. The palace consists of two main sections, namely the Selamlik and the Harem. The Selamlik is the section where the emperor conducts state business and receives foreign guests. The Selamlik section is located on the main shaft of the building, consisting of 6 large halls and several rooms opening to these halls. The Medhal Hall, Binek Hall, Elçiler, Ambassadors Hall, Julvechain Hall, offices and clerk rooms, guest and resting chambers, prince rooms, and emperor baths are located in the Selamlik section. Ceremonial Hall, where state ceremonies were held and important guests were received, is also in this section. With an area of 2,000 square meters and a height of 36 meters, the Muayyede Hall is breathtaking with its rich embellishment and decoration. The music room, used as a resting chamber by the emperors, is striking, for it features a Steinway piano made in 1911 and bearing the signature of Abdülmecid the Caliph, as well as a collection of other musical instruments. The Selamlik section of the palace is further adorned by paintings from well-known painters of the period, including Ivan Konstantinovich Ivazovsky, Fausto Zanaro, and Sheker Ahmed Pasha. The Harem section is accessed by a long hallway, featuring works from many eminent artists and painters. This hallway is like an art gallery. The most significant feature that sets the Dolmabahce Palace apart is the presence of the Harem section, which is simpler in its plan compared to the Selamlik section. The Harem section consists of chambers made for the emperor, emperor's mother, wives and princes, as well as 10 additional chambers, 8 of which were given to mastermaids. While the palace is illuminated by chandeliers, which are rare examples of French Baccarat, Italian Murano, and Czech Bohemian crystals, the internal decoration bears the signature of Séchin, a French architect who also decorated the Paris Opera as
side, right, left side, normal mountain palace. And this is another palace. Now it's like hotel, left side. And then next, this is the first Bosphorus Bridge. Name is Bosphorus Bridge. Name is Bosphorus Bridge. They built it 1972. There is Mediterranean, Black Sea. Black Sea. From south all the way to the north, only 40 kilometers. Okay, right side, Asia. Left side, Europe. And after Dardanelles, and then she goes to the Aegean Sea, and then Mediterranean. North side, you can go to the Russia. Has a coast from the Gulf. Okay? And there is a really good, really beautiful houses front of the area called Ortaköy. Very popular. Also 5-star hotel building. You can see from the left. And then there is Ortaköy Mosque. Ortaköy Mosque from the 19th century. This is first Bosphorus, and then after that, this is the second Bosphorus. Bosphorus is came from the Ortaköy, it's mean Turkish middle village, and this mosque also called Ortaköy Mosque. Second bridge show up from the front. Left side front, second bridge. Called Fatih Sultan Mehmet. Very after that, let's see, not just right. This is the first Bosphorus bridge.
The administrative center of an empire that spanned 3 continents, the imperial residence of the Ottoman dynasty, a distinguished center of education for the statesmen and their wives, preparing them for their future roles. An academy of art that nourished the Ottoman art, elevating it to a level of prominence. The Topkapı Palace. Located on the peninsula overlooking Bosporus, the palace is surrounding by the Golden Horn on one side and the Sea of Marmara on the other. Extending over an area of 700,000 square meters, the palace's initial construction was started during the reign of Mehmet the Conqueror, and in time the palace became a monumental complex as the later sultans added other buildings. Unlike the European royal palaces, where high ceilings are basic elements of architecture, the Topkapı Palace was built in unmonumental proportions. As Sultan Abdülmecid moved to the Dolmabahce Palace in 1854, the Topkapı Palace ceased to be the imperial residence. However, the royal treasure continued to be preserved there. The palace was converted into a museum in 1924 by the order of Atatürk. Having served as the administrative center and imperial residence of the Ottoman state for 380 years, the Topkapı Palace is the richest palace museum of our times with the 86,000 artifacts it houses. The imperial gate standing between Hagia Sophia and the fountain of Ahmet III is the grand entrance to the palace. Built during the reign of Fatih, the gate represents the strength and functional austerity of the Ottoman governmental philosophy. Embellished with turas, the inscription on the panel reads, "May God make eternal his empire and exalt his residence above the most lucid stars of the firmament." The imperial gate is formed of 2 doors inside one another. The doors lead to the first courtyard, which is called the parade grounds. During the Ottoman period, the parade court was always a crowded square, full of palace officials, businessmen, and foreign ambassadors visiting the Sultan. On significant occasions such as the Friday, Selamlik, or at the beginning of military expeditions, the Ottoman sultans would pass from this court in a ceremonial way. In Fatih's funeral ceremony, 25,000 Janissary, cavalries, and court officials were gathered at this court. Of the service buildings on the parade court, only Hagia Irene, which served as an armory, and the Royal Mint have survived to this day. With its towers, Babü Selam, the proper entrance of the palace, bears traces of medieval architecture. Above Babü Selam, which is also known as the Gate of Salutation, rests an inscription of Kelime-i Tevhid with turas of Mahmud III and Mustafa III below. The Gate of Salutation leads into a courtyard, which is known as the Council Square, as it hosts the domed chamber, where the meetings of the Imperial Council were held. Together with the surrounding buildings, the courtyard was designed as a ceremonial ground, serving as the official representation of the Ottoman state. The Council Square was the symbol of the state and of justice. Grand state ceremonies, such as ceremonies of royal enthronement, called julus, the payment of Janissary stipends, formal holiday festivities, and reception of ambassadors were held here. Attended by thousands of Janissary and Timariot cavalries wearing impressive costumes, these ceremonies have inspired numerous artists. The Tower of Justice next to the domed chamber was built during the reign of Fatih as a tower kiosk symbolizing the palace. Renovated in various periods, The tower was originally built for the Sultan to watch the activities carried out at the palace as well as Istanbul. Surrounded by a wide porch with 3 domes, the domed chamber was built by Süleyman the Magnificent as the meeting place of the Imperial Council. The wooden ceiling of the porch is decorated with magnificent hand carvings. Embellished in Rococo style, the marble entrance is surrounded by a bronze grid. Led by the Grand Vizier, the meetings of the Imperial Council were held in the deliberately decorated Divan Chamber, where judiciaries of Anatolia and Rumelia discussed state matters, and the Sultan would monitor the meetings behind the latticed grille above. Serving as the seat of the government for centuries, this room also hosted the marriage ceremonies of Sultan's son-in-laws. And the Grand Vizier received the foreign ambassadors here. All these ceremonies were held according to a strict and detailed protocol. Third gate of the Topkapı Palace, the Gate of Felicity, was a passage that opened up to the heart of the Ottoman Empire. Except for the ceremonies, passing behind this gate without permission was considered as a legal violation of Sultan's privacy and of court protocol. The stone in the entrance marks the place where the flag of the Ottoman Empire was centered. The audience chamber across the Gate of Felicity was the official reception room of the empire. The audience chamber reached its present form in the 16th century. Enderun, the inner palace school, is now the most popular section of the museum as it houses the Holy Relics section. Built as the private apartment of the Sultan during the reign of Mehmed the Conqueror, the privy room was damaged by earthquakes. The original architectural elements and ornaments in the room have changed as a result of restoration activities. The turas and verses flanking the entrance are works of Sultan Ahmed III. The tended sofa that welcomes the visitors and the audience chamber next to it are covered with Iznik tiles. Here, soil from the Prophet Muhammad's tomb, broken parts of his tooth, and the strand from his bed are preserved in gold reliquaries embellished with rubies and emeralds. The Prophet's footprint, his 2 swords, and bow are also exhibited in this section. The sword of Caliph Ali the swords of the Prophet's companions, the sword of the Caliph Osman, and the Quran he was reading when he was martyred. The golden cover of the black stone, Hajarul Eswed, the keys of the Kaaba, the gutters of the Kaaba, Hussein's chest, and Fatma's praying mat are also among the precious relics on display. The relics displayed in special cases in the decimal chamber are works of Yahya. The wall fountain, embellished with marble mosaics on the western part of the Holy Relics section, was the place where the dead bodies of the deceased sultans were washed. The library behind the audience chamber in the Enderun courtyard was built by the order of Sultan Ahmed III. The fountain on the front facade displays the architecture of the tulip period, with the colorful floral and vegetal motifs covering it. Above the smaller fountains added on both sides of the fountain appears a decorated mihrab. The walls of the library were covered with 16th century Iznik tiles, and the domes and ceilings are decorated with floral patterns displaying the characteristics of the tulip period. With the 13,405 book manuscripts and over 500 manuscripts with miniatures preserved in the library section, the Topkapi Palace houses the most precious collection of the Islam world. It is by no coincidence that the Topkapi Palace houses so many manuscripts and miniatures. All Ottoman sultans were deeply interested in the art of books. By the orders of the sultans, manuscripts with extraordinary depictions were created in the palace ateliers, and the sultans also collected works from various parts of the Islam world, thereby expanding the collection, which became the most significant part of the Ottoman royal treasure. Harem, the residence of the Sultan and his family, is one of the most important sections of the palace. Strangers were not allowed to enter the harem, and the residents could not leave. This understanding of privacy has been the basis of the architecture. Following a strict protocol, the harem was a large complex, also serving as a distinguished center of education. Similar to the Enderun, where men were trained for their services, the harem prepared women for their future roles. Unlike the flamboyant palaces of the West, here, the architectural proportions reveal a sense of intended modesty. Of the harem residents, concubines attracted the most attention, being also the subject of various works of art. The concubines were generally war captives or purchased slaves. They were trained in a serious and disciplined way on Islamic culture, language, crafts, and palace etiquette. After the novice degree, those advancing in training would rise through the ranks in the harem hierarchy to become kalfas and ustas. The Valide Sultan chamber, where the mother of the sultan lived, is one of the special sections of the harem. The place reflects the spirit of the 16th century with its sofa with ayvan, fireplace and fountain. Covered with Iznik tiles on the walls, the upper part of the chamber is decorated with panoramic depictions made in the empire style of the 19th century. The Sultan's hammam was built in the 16th century by Mimar Sinan, who was commissioned by Suleiman the Magnificent. Sultans bathed in the iron latticed part. It was constructed to protect the Sultan from assassination attempts. Covered with white marbles, that create a feeling of peace, the hammam is among the most notable examples of Ottoman bath culture with its delicate basins and sinks.
He's a magician. He's gonna do some magic in front of Okay, don't miss the show, okay? He's gonna do it only one time. And white clay. So he's a magic guy. He's doing some magic, magician. Magician of Istanbul, yes. What's his name? What is it?
Name.
Aydın.
Okay.
Aydın. His name is Aydın.
Aydın.
Okay, take his picture. The making is very important part.
Very pretty.
Okay, take his picture please, he's waiting for you. It's moonstone, the 8th element. It's on the place. Moonstone.
Hagia Sophia is also known as the Great Mosque of the Hagia Sophia, and as the Church of Hagia Sophia is a place of worship situated in the country of Istanbul. This church was initially built in the year 360 AD. Hagia Sophia has been demolished and reconstructed many times in the past, and it is one of the best architecture places of worship in Istanbul. Construction history of Hagia Sophia. Hagia Sophia was initially constructed by Emperor Constantine. However, the initial role of the Hagia Sophia was not as a place of worship, but rather it was built to be served as a basilica for the Greek Church. The construction of the church was commissioned in the year 360. Constantine was the emperor of the Byzantine Empire, and so the credit of building Hagia Sophia goes to the Byzantine emperor. Initially, the Hagia Sophia was built from woods, and the roof was made entirely out of the wood. However, soon enough the church was burned because of the riots caused by the political conflict in the family of then Emperor Arakidos. The year this occurred was 404. After that, Emperor Arakidos stepped down as the king and was succeeded by the Emperor Theodosius II. He rebuilt the Hagia Sophia and completed the new Hagia Sophia in the year 415. Unlike the previous Hagia Sophia, the new ones had 5 naves and monumental entrance. However, the roof of the place was still covered with wood. After 1 century, the Hagia Sophia was again burnt to ashes due to the fire caused by the Nika Revolt. The Nika Revolt was conducted against Emperor Justinian II, who ruled from 527 to 565. After Emperor Justinian II saw the Hagia Sophia burnt, he ordered the reconstruction of the basilica. However, the condition was now so bad that they had to demolish the Hagia Sophia. After destroying the Hagia Sophia, the emperor ordered Isidoros Millet and Anthemios Tralles, 2 renowned architects, to build a new basilica. He named it Hagia Sophia, and it was completed in the year 537, within 6 years. The design of the Hagia Sophia. The initial design of Hagia Sophia and the current standing Hagia Sophia had a contrasting difference. Hagia Sophia has a mix of the Orthodox basilica and also had a large domed roof and a semi-domed altar with 2 narthexes. The domes of the newly built Hagia Sophia are covered by the mosaics of the 6-winged angels, which are commonly known as hexapteragon. The newly built Hagia Sophia had new features when compared to the original Hagia Sophia. This time, the marble from which the floor and roof have been made was imported from Turkey, called Anatolia in the past, and Syria. The other bricks were brought from distant places, such as North Africa. According to the studies, the interior design of the Hagia Sophia was made to look like flowing water. The roof of Hagia Sophia was made from wood, and the piers were attached to support the great body of weight of the building. This led to a disbalance of the weight, and the structure almost collapsed due to its weight. The building of Hagia Sophia was completed quickly, and this led to its collapsing again after some time. Next, the builders thought of keeping the dome in place by supporting it with a chain. This led to some problems, and the building again collapsed due to its weight issue. Finally, Isidoros Millet and Anthemios Tralles managed to support the roof of the building just like the way it is now. This time, it was more stable, and that has led to the structure lasting for more than 1,500 years. Another good thing to notice is that the seating plan of Hagia Sophia was divided into 2 levels. There were seats at the top and seats at the bottom. This division was done so that segregation of the people could take place according to their gender and class. This makes sure that the rich and powerful people always sat on the top, while the lower and middle class people seated at the bottom when there was an event or service in the basilica. The initial interior design of the Hagia Sophia was quite simple and plain. There were no mosaics in it as there are now. When the new Hagia Sophia was built after the deconstruction of the original one, the murals were added on the walls by various emperors who ruled the empire of present-day Istanbul. After the falling of the Byzantine Empire, the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, Mehmed II, took over Istanbul, and he made some changes to the Hagia Sophia. The Sultan and his successors added the 4 minarets outside the Hagia Sophia and also added new caliph's mosaic in the interior. The pre-existing mosaics were all covered by paint and caliph were added on the pillars. In the years 1847 and 1849, the Hagia Sophia again underwent changes and Swiss architecture style was added to the Hagia Sophia. This led to the present-day Hagia Sophia. The religious history of Hagia Sophia. Initially, the Hagia Sophia was not built as a church, but as a basilica for the church. This all happened in the reign of Constantine and his successors. However, in the year 1453, the Byzantine Empire falls prey to the Sultan Mehmed II of the Ottoman Empire. They took over the Hagia Sophia and made certain changes to its design and its function. From a place where the kings were crowned, the place becomes a worship ground of the Muslim people. Hagia Sophia now. When in 1935 the Republic of Turkey was formed, and then the government declared the Hagia Sophia as a museum that attracts several people from all over the world, till now. It was said that in 2020, this place would again be opened as a place for worship of the Muslim religion.
Sultan Ahmed Mosque, also known as the Blue Mosque, is a historic mosque located in Istanbul, Turkey. It was constructed between 1609 and 1616, during the rule of Ahmed I. The mosque has 5 main domes, 6 minarets, and 8 secondary domes. The upper area is decorated with approximately 20,000 hand-painted glazed ceramic in 60 different tulip patterns. The lower stories are illuminated by 200 stained glass windows. These are some interesting facts about this marvelous architectural design that we would like to share with you. Number 1. Never been called as Blue Mosque by Turks. This mosque has never been called as the Blue Mosque by the Turks, but it is known as the Blue Mosque by many tourists, because of the blue tiles adorns the interior and gives the building its unofficial name. Number 2. Sultan was only 19 when he initiated the construction. Sultan Ahmed I was only 19 years old when he initiated the construction of the mosque. His decision provoked the anger of Ottoman scholars and Ottoman population, because Ottoman sultans had always paid for their mosque with their war booty. Number 3. Architect Mehmed Aga died the same time as Sultan. The architect of the Blue Mosque was Sadefka Mehmed Aga, who became chief imperial architect to the Ottoman court in 1606, and was the last student of architect Sinan. After the construction of mosque was completed, Mehmed Aga died in 1617 at about the same time as his sultan. Number 4. Total cost of the mosque. According to registers of construction expenses, the total cost of the construction of Sultan Ahmet Mosque was over 180 million Uxes, which originally referred to a silver coin. Number 5. Gold minarets as 6 minarets. According to folklore, an architect misheard the Sultan's request for altın minarella, gold minarets, as alt minaras, 6 minarets, at the time a unique feature of the Mosque of the Kaaba in Mecca. When criticized for his presumption, the Sultan then ordered a 7th minaret to be built at the Mecca Mosque. Number 6. It is not only a mosque. The Sultan Ahmet Mosque also included madrasa, a higher educational institution, a hospital, an imarat, a soup kitchen, a primary school, a market and a tomb for the members of the royal family. Many of these buildings were later torn down in the 19th century. Number 7. Only mosque with 6 minarets. The Blue Mosque is the only mosque with 6 minarets in Istanbul. However, Turkey hosts 2 other mosques with 6 minarets. One of them is Hertz Mikdat Mosque in Mersin City, and the other one is Sabancı Merkez Mosque in Adana City. Number 8. Still a working mosque. Although it is one of Istanbul's most popular sites, it is still a working mosque, and is therefore closes for 90 minutes to tourists at each prayer time. According to statements of Ishaq Slalan, Imam of the Blue Mosque, around 20,000 people can worship at the mosque at the same time.